Hey guys, Tinder Drift, and we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about you wanting to modify your Ae92. Now, if you are just tuning in, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more Ae92 content or Toyota content. Now, let's go ahead and get right into this. You want to modify your Ae92. I get you. So whether it's for power gains, for handling, for just a show car, for making it just a straight out drag car, whatever you guys intentions are, let's go ahead and talk about modifying the Ae92. Now, what mine is, it's a 1989 Toyota Corolla GTS. Okay, this had the first generation 4AGE big port, which had TVIS. It's basically the same engine that was in the Ae86. So yeah, that's the engine I got in this GTS currently. So what we can look for modifications, the first beginning modifications you want to look for is coilovers. Now, coilover setups on these cars are phenomenal. Whether you go for a cheap setup or expensive setup, you could go for max speed rods, which is a very cheap coilover setup that has somewhat decent quality to get you into the coilover setup. Now, it's pretty straightforward when you install coilovers. However, for the Ae92, the rear coilovers tend to basically bring, how do I say it? You gotta sometimes run spacers when you run those coilovers in the rear. You're gonna sometimes have problems with your wheel setup. On this current setup, I don't have coilovers in the rear. I only have it in the front. If I ran coilovers, I'd have to run spacers because my wheels offset just would rub against the actual strut, or coilover I mean. So you want to take that into consideration when you are looking to do coilovers. Now, the next thing you want to do after coilovers, I'd highly recommend, is doing tires and wheels, guys. So tires and wheels is kind of the obvious and beginner mods that a lot of people overlook. I mean, everyone gets rims, but they really go for crappy tires just to get them on. So you really want to throw some decent tires onto these Ae92s, really good performing tires depending on what setup you're going for on the Ae92 itself. But definitely don't neglect getting some nice wheels and tires. It'll transform the look of your car and the handling of your car completely. So trust me, definitely go ahead and do that. Now, this next modification isn't really a modification, but it's something you should, and what I recommend you guys do. When you get these cars, they're, you know, 30 years old, they're really old cars. So change out the gear oil in your car, put some nice quality fresh gear oil in, and trust me, it's gonna feel so much smoother and like you're driving a new car. Fluid exchanges all around really help just about everything. So doing an oil change, doing new coolant, doing new brake fluid, clutch fluid, and gear oil, just refreshing the car really does do fucking miracles when it comes to the performance of the car, even though you may overlook it. Now, like I said, tying that into this, you want to just do your basic maintenance. There's no point in modifying your car if your car's not even up to par. Like, if you throw wheels, coilovers, all this crap, and then, you know, something else goes out, like me, like my alternator went out, or my starter went out, or you know, my brakes are fucked, you know what I mean? So definitely do not neglect doing the simple maintenance on your car and then move on to the modifications that we all want to do. With all that aside, let's get into the real power modifications. So power, you want to modify your car mainly for power. I understand you, I get it completely, and all of us do. This particular 4AGE made around, I believe 110 horsepower. The small port made about 130 horsepower. So you want more power, I get you. So the best, honestly, the best bang for your buck when it comes to modifying this particular 4AGE or all 4AGEs is going with boost. Now, turbocharging these cars, you can make realistic, great power gains out of it. Like, you could make around, you could easily make or push 200 to 300 going turbocharger. So, and you could even go more if you go crazy. But they're really, it just makes more sense to turbocharge these cars or these engines because they can make a lot more power than they were to in NA form. Not to say they can't, they can, but it's gonna cost a lot of money pouring parts into this engine in its naturally aspirated form. But it is possible, and a lot of people do it all the time. But yeah, so I would recommend turbocharging this car. Obviously not all of us have that kind of money, so the next things I would recommend you doing for your 4AGE is port and polishing your cylinder head, aftermarket headers, a real cold air intake. This right now, this is just a tube, because my other my plastic tube broke. But what people do is get this intake and then put a pod filter, and it just absorbs heat. Make a true cold air intake, fabricate it yourself, make it suck up some actual nice cold air. Other modifications you can get for the 4AGE is you can get cam shafts, aftermarket cam shafts. I believe before 264 degrees, after 264 degrees, you'd have to get an aftermarket ECU for it. So like I said, cam shafts, headers, cylinder head porting, a true cold air intake, rebuilding the bottom end, rebuilding the top end. Basically you can get some small power gains. Won't be something crazy, but it is going to give you some significant difference. You can run ITBs on it, individual throttle bodies on it as well. A lot of people tend to do that too, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so realistically, when it comes to modifying this 4AGE, it's just better off to turbocharge it or engine swap it. But you're probably not trying to do that, I get you. So I definitely recommend you guys going ahead and turbocharging the car. This 90s Toyota Corolla has a beautiful body line, so simple things make this car look so much better. Right now it has a stock spoiler and it has 16-inch wheels, so doing some nice tints, redoing the paint, just going with a nice color scheme really brings this car alive. And yeah guys, so that's pretty much what you can expect to look at when you're wanting to modify your Ae92. Although these are not all the mods, these are a lot of the common mods that you tend to do when you get an Ae92. If you're just getting it for the first time, like I said, highly recommend maintenance, wheels and tires, new coilover setup, or a strut brace, making the car handle a lot more. These are beautiful autocross cars. They're really good, and just as a, how do I say it, just as a handling car, they're beautiful, amazing, good looking cars that I highly recommend you guys going for. And if you want to get some of that sweet power, definitely go ahead, turbo it or engine swap it, whatever you guys would feel. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll definitely catch you guys in the next video. If you want to see more Ae92 content, be sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.